Now, Paul addresses this in Ephesians 2. He reminds these Ephesian Christians, first of all, of what they were. Consider, he says, what you were. And I can't expound all of this. I don't have time, but I don't want you to miss it. What does he say they were? As for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins. In other words, you were spiritually dead. That's not difficult to understand. There was no life spiritually in us at all. We are depraved. That doesn't mean that we're as bad as we could possibly be, but it does mean that there is no part of our human nature that is not touched and tainted by sin. And we have no ability to disassociate ourselves from that trap in which we're born. Spiritually dead, disobedient, pleasing ourselves, and at the end of verse 3, the objects of wrath. This, if you like, my friends, is the plight of man. This you will not find in the average newspaper, indeed in hardly any newspaper. This you will not find in the history books as an explanation for the sad and sorry predicament in which we find ourselves. People are trying desperately to explain it in terms of the responses to various factors in life, whether they're economic factors or environmental factors or whatever they might be. We are better equipped in analyzing that than we have ever been in the history of humanity. And yet even the leaders of our country are unable to extricate themselves from the sorriness and the rottenness and the fallenness and the sinfulness of it all. And these are the people to whom we would look in order to provide the solutions for our predicament? No, our predicament is so deep that there is no human agency that is going to be able to extricate ourselves. And yet the message comes, try and fix yourself, try and find yourself, try and reform yourself, try and embrace religion, try and be a little better. And all of these apparent stepping stones are nothing other than stumbling blocks. My dear friends, if we're going to be made spiritually alive, it's going to happen as a result of a power outside of ourselves and not as a result of our being able to look into ourselves and find the God part in ourselves or find the spiritual part in ourselves, which is, of course, so much contemporary thought. Why don't you just go away for the afternoon and find yourself? And you'll find that you have a lovely self in there, and if you can just cultivate that like a large sunflower, then you will just be a lovely sunflower just sitting in your car at the traffic lights. Well, I encourage you to try it, and you'll see how quickly a sunflower can wither as a result of self-help. Consider what you were. Consider, secondly, what Christ did, verse 13. He shed his blood. Why? Because without the shedding of blood, there is no way for sin to be remitted. If there is any other way, then there is no need for a crucified Christ. He shed his blood. He brought us near. He made us alive. He saved us. That's why he's then able to go on and say, consider what you are. Verse 6, you are seated in the heavenly realms. You are ready, verse 10, to do good. Verse 7, you're being prepared for a quite incredible show and tell. He seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus in order that in the coming ages he might have a show and tell of the incomparable riches of his grace expressed in his kindness to us in Jesus. In other words, he's going to have this amazing event and he's going to bring people along and he'll say, there she is. Look at her. Do you know what she once was? It's going to be fantastic. I mean, isn't it going to be marvelous when the lady at the well, man, comes up in that thing, you know, and he sits there. You see, she had 5 husbands and a live-in lover, but look at her. Look at how beautiful she is. Here he is, Zacchaeus, now in the fullness of his stature. Look at him. What, as a result of the lady's desire to turn over a new leaf, to become a better person, to get plugged into religion? As a result of his endeavors no longer to be a cheat and to be done with those kind of things, to turn over a new leaf and to go on his way? No, as a result of the invasion of a power from outside of themselves that made them brand new and placed them in a whole new community. A divine institution, not a human invention. A spiritual union, not an external commitment. Oh, there is external dimensions to it, as we shall see in the coming weeks. But without the spiritual union, any external element, albeit baptism, be it subscriptions of membership, be it all those things, none of those things as an amalgamation can take the place of a divine transaction in the soul of man, whereby we are made new, made alive, saved, transformed. This is the church.